Hello, friends. Welcome. Welcome to another live stream. It's been a little while. I think probably since Monday, right? I don't know. I'm going to give everyone a chance to come on in. As you're coming in, please say hello in the chat. Say hello in the chat. Let me know you're here because I want to know that you're here. Let me know that you are here in the chat. Kermit the Frog is here. Kermit the Frog here. Lauren is here. Hello, 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 hello. Let's see who else is here. Starfighter's here. Lornell Brown is here. Delilah is here. Beauty Unraveled. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Kimberly. Hello, Gigi. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, Anne. Hello, Jay. Hello, Amanda. Hello, everybody. Big shout out to Shona. Big shout out to Danielle. So many shout outs. Perry, shout out to you. Hello, 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 everybody. I'm going to give everyone a minute to sort of fall in here. Let me know you are here in the chat. I apologize in advance for the terrible lighting of this. Like, I look like I'm in a dungeon. I apologize for the terrible lighting of this live stream. I was on location shooting a couple of videos yesterday, and I brought my lights there, and I didn't forget them there. They're just in the car, and I didn't feel like setting them up again for this live stream. And so I apologize. I'm stuck in the dungeon today. But I'm very excited that you all have decided to join me for this Saturday edition of Love Stream. I don't know why. As I was making the title for this live stream, I accidentally typed Love Stream, and I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what this is. It's a love stream, I hope. Like, I love you all, and I don't mean you all might, some of you might hate me, but that's okay. Hopefully you love me, because I definitely love you. And so this is a love stream, not just a live stream, but a love stream. So much love coming from me to you all, and anyway, a stream of love. Alrighty then, let's get into it. We got a couple things to tackle before we dive in. Number one, we are live. I'm going to be answering some questions here in just a couple minutes, so get yourself thinking. Begin to throw some questions into the chat that you might want me to tackle. I would love to answer your questions and just be on here to provide you all with some value, to provide you with some encouragement. I'm going to start answering questions in just a couple minutes, so please throw your questions down in the chat. Secondly, the Super Chat feature is available. Super Chat is a great way for you to highlight your question or highlight your comment and guarantee that I see it, guarantee that I will answer your question. But more than that, it's a great way for you to help partner with this ministry in a financial way. Super Chat is just a way for you to give $1, $2, $5, $30, however you are able, and it highlights your comment, highlights your question, but it also just helps to support this ministry in a financial way. To give you an idea, just giving $2 in the Super Chat today financially helps this ministry as much as if you had watched 1,000 videos. And so if you believe in what I'm trying to do with this channel, which is bring the gospel literally into all the world as Jesus commanded us in Mark to go into all the world and to preach the gospel to all nations, if you believe in that, like Jesse does, who just gave a $2 super chat, you can be just like Jesse and give in the super chat today. It is located for most of you. It's not available everywhere, and I apologize. It's located just under where you type something. It says say something in the chat. Just under there, there's a little dollar icon. You click on that. It takes it right out of your, I think right out of like, right off your credit card. It's no big thing. It's totally legit, I promise you. And those funds go directly towards helping this ministry go and helping this ministry grow and reach more people. And so if you're able to do that today, I would be very blessed by it. Sorry, the dogs are barking upstairs and I don't know why. Anyway, last but not least, actually, I'll get to that at the end. There's a surprise, not a surprise at the end. I shouldn't have said that. I want to make one final announcement, but I'm going to save it for the end. And so, let's dive in, and I'm going to answer some questions. We should shout out our first super chat, as I did a little bit before. Jesse Bless, thank you. $2 in the super chat. Thank you so much, Jesse. That's 1,000 views right there. That's how much you help this channel. I'm not saying I buy views. That sounded like I was saying I buy views. No, I'm saying AdSense-wise, from 1,000 views, you get anywhere between $2 and $3. And so him giving $2 is the same as if he had watched 1,000 views. But anyway, Jesse's a good friend of mine. Hello, John Jorgensen and George Foreman. I'm not sure I get it. Maybe George Foreman's in the dungeon? I don't know. Anyway. All right, let's see. What questions do we have? Kimberly asks, how do you find peace with God through your circumstances? So Kimberly, I would actually challenge you to completely switch the way that you are thinking about that question. We don't find peace through our circumstances. If we are looking to our circumstances in order to find peace, then we are going to constantly be disappointed because our circumstances are constantly changing. Our circumstances are changing, they're fading away, and so if we are looking to our circumstances and trying to find peace through them, we will be disappointed. Instead, where we should be finding peace, as you sort of alluded to in the question, is we should be finding peace in the Lord. We should be finding peace in the fact that His promises that He gives us in His Word are true regardless of what our circumstances are telling us. And so what I would encourage people to do is not to ignore our circumstances, but rather to make sure we are viewing God's Word and giving more weight to what God has said over what others are doing in our lives. And unfortunately, most of the time we flip that. We give way more weight to what others say and what others do and what happens in our lives over what God has said. And I want to challenge each and every one of us to flip that and give way more weight to what God has said in His Word, what God has promised in His Word, because that is truth that we can lean on. And so that is what I would say there. Alrighty, let's see. All right. I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm so sorry. Ingvid? So sorry. Any tips on stopping casually lying, like white lies? I would do some self-soul searching and figure out why are you casually lying. I think a lot of the times we are lying, or we're telling those little white lies, perhaps because we're trying to become more important or more impressive in the eyes of someone else. We're perhaps seeking praise from others, and so we lie a little bit, or we turn the truth to make ourselves look a little bit more important, or a little bit richer, or a little bit smarter, or a little bit funnier than we actually are. So I would maybe get to the root of that. What sort of insecurity or what issue is going on deep within your heart that perhaps you need to deal with between you and God first, before just trying to correct the behavior? Because I'm a big believer that any sort of behavioral issue that we have, there is a root identity issue underneath. And so that's what I would say. We got a huge super chat coming in from Miranda Creel. $50 in the super chat. That is unbelievable, Miranda. Thank you so much. So much. All right, Miranda, let's see. That's unbelievable. All right, Miranda says, what is your favorite Bible verse and book from the Bible? So there are so many. there are literally so many. But one that I have been leaning on a lot, a verse that I've been leaning on so much in the last few years, especially as I've been on this sort of YouTube speaking ministry as my job track that God has called me on. I've been leaning heavily on Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. And just the promise of that verse, that even when I don't know where the path is leading, even when sometimes I feel like I can't even see the path, that if I trust in the Lord and if I submit everything that I do and everything that I am to Him, then He's going to make that path straight. And I don't know what's at the end of that path, but I don't need to know, because I'm already trusting in God. And that is something where I need that promise. I need that reminder every single day with the circumstances that I'm in, with the career that I've chosen, because it's so uncertain. I don't know when the next opportunity to go speak is coming in. Sometimes I don't know when the next paycheck is going to come in. And so I have to literally open up my hands and trust God, here's the path. You are in control of it. I don't really know. And then favorite book in the Bible is the Gospel of John, for obvious reasons. But more than that, I just love John's writing. I view John as a very creative thinker, a very artistic thinker, and I would like to think of myself as that as well, and sort of the imagery within the Gospel of John and the alliteration and the poetic language and the parallels that he draws through the rest of Scripture are just like mind-blowing. Every time I read the Gospel of John, I get something new out of it. And so, yeah, it's kind of nerdy, but I love it. All right, we got another super chat from Jessica Valdez. Jessica, thank you so much. God promises joy. Why am I chronically depressed? That's a great question, Jessica. That is a question that I think a lot of people struggle with, and that if God says he loves me, or if God promises joy, like you said, why do I feel depressed, or why am I depressed? So I would first challenge you to make that distinction. Are you chronically medically depressed? Because there is a medical diagnosis of depression. And if that's the case, then I would highly recommend that you seek out a doctor's care, that you continue to seek out a pastor's care, because that is something, that is a medical diagnosis. That has nothing to do with feelings or anything like that. That's much deeper. That's a much deeper issue that needs to be resolved with a doctor's care and with a pastor's care. And so I would challenge you to make that distinction. Are you clinically depressed, or are you feeling sad? Are you feeling depressed from time to time? And if that's the case, then I would challenge you to dig into that and ask, well, why is it? Is it because I am, instead of leaning on, as we talked about already earlier, instead of leaning on the truth of God, am I leaning more on my circumstances? Instead of looking to what God has said for my joy, am I looking to my circumstances for my joy, which are constantly letting me down? And so my advice would really be to do some searching and really critically think and ask yourself, what is the distinction here? Do I have a clinical medical diagnosis, which should not be self-diagnosed, by the way? Do I have a medical diagnosis that I need to then get a doctor's care for? Or are these feelings and emotions of sadness and depression that I'm feeling? Then you need to dig deeper. That's what I would say. Thanks so much for the super chat, Jessica. I so appreciate it. Susie coming in with another super chat. Thank you, Susie, for all of your support on this channel. I am so grateful for you. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got here. For those of you who don't know, on these, when I'm looking for a question, I often sing. I'm not sure why. Let's see. Oh, here's a great question. Alex May says, why YouTube? So that's a great question, and I could talk about this all day. But I will say this. One of my huge philosophies, and something that I have grown to discover, is that many of us know that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world behind Google. There are millions of videos and billions of minutes of videos uploaded to YouTube every single day. People are 24/7 watching millions of videos on this platform. It is so clear that the attention of so many people in the world, especially young people, the attention of these young people is on YouTube. And so to me, I am interested in bringing the gospel to where people's attention is. And so for me, I know that people, especially a lot of young people, they're going to spend their time on YouTube whether we like it or not. A lot of churches and a lot of, Christian thinkers will say, social media is evil and the internet's evil, and we should be encouraging our kids to not spend so much time on it. Whereas for me, I know that especially young people are gonna spend time on the internet whether we like it or not. And so for me, I would much rather meet them where they're at. I would much rather provide a hopefully Christ-centered alternative to what they would otherwise watch. Instead of telling them, no, 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 you shouldn't do that, that website's bad, what I would rather do is I would rather say, yes, 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 go on there. Here is something better. Here is something more Christ-centered that you can watch. And so a big reason why I'm on YouTube is to provide a Christ-centered alternative to what people might otherwise be watching on this platform. That's my that's my idea. All right, Susie asks, where's Sweet Bear? Thank you again for the super chat, Susie. Sweet Bear is at a wedding today. For those of you who don't know, Sweet Bear, my wife, she works as a wedding planner, and today she has a wedding downtown in downtown Chicago. So she's down there making people's big day happen, which I'm so grateful that that I'm married to a woman who helps such an important day in people's lives go off swimmingly and helps people enter into that covenant. I think what an incredible ministry my wife gets to be a part of. Menno, thank you, Menno, for the super chat. Thank you so much. Menno is a constant supporter of this channel, both here and on Patreon. For those of you who don't know, my Patreon page is another way that you can help support this ministry financially on a monthly recurring basis. For as little as $1 a month, you can help this channel and this ministry continue to reach more people. My goal is to reach 500,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Let's be vulnerable here. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm believing that it's going to happen. And one of the ways that we're going to be able to do that is by more people like you partnering with this ministry in the super chat or on Patreon, so that we have more funds behind these videos so that I can continue to promote them in countries perhaps where Christians are being persecuted, or continue to promote them in areas where people perhaps aren't getting the best biblical teaching or whatever it might be. And so if you are interested in helping partner with this ministry in a financial way, and you can't do the super chat today, but you're interested in something a little more consistent, I highly recommend you check out my Patreon page. That is patreon.com/John Jorgensen. Check that out. Menno is on there, and he is awesome. All right, Plex Bank asks, should you date non-believers, John? I have a video on this. If you just search in YouTube, can a Christian date a non-believer, you will find the video. I'm not trying to dodge the question. That video will just answer that question far better than I could right here, right now, off the cuff. So I would highly recommend that you go and watch that video. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got. See, what did I tell you? I didn't mean to jump back into that. Candy Popper asks, is it day or night in your country? It is daytime right now. It is just after noon. It is just after 12 p.m. Here in America, here in Chicago, Illinois. Let's see, let's see, let's see. All right, another question. I really need to invest in someone to come and just choose the questions for me and give me the questions, because I feel like I kill and waste so much time just looking for questions. But sometimes the questions are really long, so it's hard. All right. Let's see, what else, what else, what else? What's wrong with me? I'm glad you're here. That's so awesome. Here's a question from Kevin. Kevin asks, what advice would you give to someone who is struggling with lust? Kevin, that's a great question. My biggest advice to people who struggle with lust every single time is do not give up. Do not give up. Lust is a tough temptation. It is a tough battle, and it is a long-term battle for a lot of people. It is a hard thing to quit. But I don't ever think anyone should quit. It is one of those things where we feel like, oh, we fall again. I gave into that temptation again. Or, oh, gosh, the devil's really beating me down with this temptation today. No, don't quit. Do not give up. No matter how many times you fall, no matter how many times you fail, no matter how bad the temptation gets, do not give up, because it is worth fighting. It is worth fighting for. That is all I'll say on that. Do not give up. If any of you are drowning in temptation, especially with lust right now, don't give up. If you've fallen, that's okay. We forgive you. God forgives you. Get back on the horse. Try again. That's what I'll say. I'm very passionate about that, as you could see. Sempo asks, how old or young are you? I am the same age old as I am young. I am 26 years old and 26 years young. I will turn 27 in just a couple weeks, though, which I'm very excited about. Let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Christina asks, favorite Christian author and why? That's a tough question. There are just so many great authors that I've read. Tim Keller is a huge, huge inspiration to me. Mark Batterson, specifically the Circle Maker, is the best book I've ever read on prayer. That book, The Circle Maker by Mark Batterson, absolutely transformed my prayer life in college, and I still see ripples of the prayers that I prayed then while reading that book. I still see ripples of those prayers today, which is just unbelievable. And so those are two that definitely had a huge impact on my life and on my faith. All right, Rosemary with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Rosemary, for continuing to help this ministry grow. Let's see, 2 questions. Rosemary, do you live in Chicago? The answer is yes. Rosemary, what is your second question? I want to answer your second question, but I only see one question. I do live in Chicago. I love Chicago. It's, in my opinion, the best. Well, there are some things that are not great. The weather 8 months out of the year is not fantastic. But I do really love Chicago. I think it's a great city. I think it's a really great combination of a city that is very big, but also it doesn't feel ginormous most of the time, at least to me. Maybe that's because I've lived in much larger cities than Chicago. And so Chicago, it just feels a little bit more accessible than most really, really large cities. Rosemary, I want to answer your second question, but I don't see where it is. Oh, Rosemary then says, how can I talk to high schoolers about God? That's a great question, Rosemary. I think one of the things you're going to need to do is earn that platform in their life. And there are many ways that you can do that. One is by just showing up and volunteering at your church's student ministry, forming a relationship with them. A lot of high schoolers, a lot of teenagers, they're not just going to be open to anyone showing up and just talking about God to them immediately. A lot of teenagers, especially teenagers today, they are so relational. They are all about relationships, and it is out of that relationship, once they feel and see that you actually care about them as a person, then you earn the platform to be able to speak truth into their lives. And so I would highly recommend that you find a way where you can get involved in the life of high schoolers in your area or in your church, begin to form relationships there, show up consistently every time, show them that you actually care about them, that you actually love them, and then slowly enough you will begin to build that trust. Slowly you will begin to build that relationship with them, and they will begin to open up to you, and they will be so receptive to the gospel. It's unbelievable. I promise you that. Miranda Creel. Oh my gosh, the generosity is unbelievable. Thank you so much. Another $20 super chat. Miranda, thank you. Thank you, thank you. You're fantastic. Let's see. When did you know that public speaking was for you? That's a great question. So I grew up doing theater and performing, so being on stage was never a thing that I was afraid of. It was never something that, it was always something that I knew was for me, being on stage. Now, there's a difference between being an actor on stage and public speaking and teaching. And that took a while to sort of discern. But a big part of it was I started working at this Christian summer camp, and one of the counselors had to get up and sort of lead the devotions. One of the counselors had to get up and pray at the end of a worship set. And I did once or twice, and my boss, the camp director, really just saw something in me. She saw something in me. She saw that God had given me a gift, the gift of teaching, and she just kept shoving the microphone in my hand. She said, John, you're good at this. John, when you speak, those kids listen. John, go up there again. Go up there again. Do it again. Do it again. And she kept giving me the microphone. She kept giving me the permission, and she kept encouraging me, even though I didn't know what the heck I was doing, even though I hadn't studied on how to do it or anything like that. She saw a gift in me, and so she just pulled it out. And so I want to encourage anyone out there who has influence in any sort of way. When you see a gift, when you see something in someone, you have a responsibility to pull that gift out of them. Because who knows, I may never have, or it may have taken me much longer to sort of discover this gifting that God had given me for speaking if my boss all those years ago hadn't seen that and then pulled it out of me. And so I'm very grateful for that. Let's see. Beauty Unraveled. Thank you for the $2 super chat. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Help when dealing with loneliness. So I have not a controversial, but sort of a tough love view on loneliness. For me, I'm not saying that, I would never say that if you're lonely, that's your fault. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, if you are struggling with loneliness, then really you are responsible for fighting against that. If you feel as though you don't have anyone in your life, one thing we shouldn't do is just sit there and complain and wallow in our loneliness. It's okay to feel that, but you should feel that loneliness as a conviction from the Holy Spirit that's telling you, go out, begin to build community, begin to reach out to other people, begin to form relationships, hang out with people. It's gonna be awkward, it's gonna be uncomfortable. You're going to hang out with groups where you're like, I don't fit in with this group at all. This is terrible. That's fine. I think, though, with loneliness, we feel that when we're stuck in loneliness, we have a responsibility to be the solution to our own problem. That's on the totally earthly side of things. The other side is, at the root of our loneliness probably is some version of distrust or discontent in our relationship with God as well. And so I think there are two things that you sort of have to fight there. One, you have to outwardly go out and seek community. Something my pastor said a few months ago was, community is formed, not found. We have to go out and commit to forming community as a healing for our loneliness, rather than waiting for community to just find us or for us to find community. And the other side is to do sort of a what am I trying to say? To do sort of an investigation of your relationship with God and say, where is there discontent here, that a relationship with God is not enough for me, that I'm still feeling lonely. And so that's what I would say. That is all the time I have today. Unfortunately, I have other things I need to do. The last thing I'll say, I want to let you all know that starting tomorrow, I am going out on about a 7-week stretch where I am speaking at 7 different locations. Pretty much speaking every week, sometimes twice a week, and it is the most busy I will ever be, in terms of traveling and in terms of teaching, but I am so excited for what God is going to do at these camps, at these conferences over the next 7 weeks. And so I selfishly want to ask for you all to pray for me as I am traveling and as I am speaking and as I am teaching. I will still be putting up videos and things like that. These live streams might be a little more inconsistent since I'm traveling so much, but every Wednesday and every Friday there will be videos. Every Wednesday, a day in the Word. Every Friday, a new, different kind of video. But I'm asking for you all, if you would, pray for me as I'm going and as I'm teaching. And if any of you out there, we run into each other, please come up, say hi, say, hey, I watch your live streams, or hey, I watch your YouTube channel. I absolutely... Bye now.